The gods have spoken. Well, the Norse gods. Today, I'm going to be doing a deck profile on one of my favorite decks, Generaiders. It is the last day of the season, and we got to tier 2 in Master Rank. I was 2 games away from getting to tier 1, and then unfortunately, we went on a bad losing streak. Yeah, I think the next game I would get demoted, so I thought, you know what, let's leave it as this. I'm still proud with tier 2, and I do believe I could get to tier 1. Probably get demoted, and it'll be a bit of a grind, but considering on that run, when I got to 2 games away, I had to face 2 Snake Eyes and beat them both. But then a few of those losses were just because Snake Eyes or Branded were just the better deck. But then some were just truly unlucky, bad hands. That's how it goes with Generators. But I don't want to get into that right now, because firstly, let's get on with the deck profile. After that, I'll do my pros and cons with this deck, ending with 2 combos, but technically I could just show 1. The first combo is really so basic and easy that I could literally just talk about it now. But just in case there's any new viewers out there who don't really know how Generators work, but they're interested in the deck because they love the art, the theme, the playstyle, this is for you then. Oh, and as always, 2 things. 1, there will be a montage on this deck in the next few days. So going on to number 2, if you are new to my channel and haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel to be up to date with all my content, like the montage coming out in a few days, or to be updated when I live stream, which includes 1v1s with viewers. Now, with that out of the way, let's get on with the deck profile. So firstly, of course, Driver, because we are playing Cyframe Gamma. This is a must because your normal summon monsters all tribute themselves or another card, but usually themselves to bring out another monster. So when you're off the field, if your opponent decides to Ash you or Maxi, Cyframe Gamma, free synchro. Or if you have your field spell, your opponent tries to Ash that. Again, if you have no monster on the field, you can Gamma the Ash. 2 Droll, but honestly, it used to be 3, dropped it to 2, I may drop it to 1. It was powerful before Snake Eyes came out, because obviously Vanadium and Super Heavy Summarize. But now that Snake Eyes is just dominant, it's the most popular deck out right now. Plus Branded being the second best deck, Droll doesn't really hit them. It can hurt Snake Eyes kind of, really does nothing to Branded, but Snake Eyes can still play through it. So I'm thinking maybe to switch this for a Veiler or another Imperm. Veiler because I could then use Cross Out and Veiler's becoming popular, or Imperm because Imperm is the better hand trap. We'll see, but for now, I got this high with Droll at 2. 3 Maxi mandatory, don't need to explain. You have to play it. As much as I want it banned, you have to play it. 3 Lone Fire Blossom. If this is your only monster or you're guaranteed not to go over the 5 summons mark for Nibiru, I usually just go Lone Fire into Lone Fire into Lone Fire, then into Mardell, just to thin out the deck and so you don't dead draw these. Because if they're gonna Ash you or Imperm you or whatever, they're gonna do it as soon as you summon it. But I play Lone Fire Blossom at 3 because I want to get to Mardell as soon as possible, because we need the field. The field is the deck. If you don't have it, you're gonna have a big struggle. You can still have a board, like you could have, do you know what, I can't even pronounce his name, Levatine. I'm just gonna call him Loki because that's who he is in the lore. You can have Loki on the field. Yeah, look, I'm bad at pronunciation, so yeah, whatever. You can have Loki on the field, but that's it. You can suck up 2 cards and hope that can end your opponent. If not, you're gonna have to rely on whatever else you had in your hand. 3 Ash, again, it's like Maxi. Really powerful hand trap you have to play. Anyone not playing this at 3 to me is it's wild. 3 Lopter aka Loki again, even better than Lone Fire because he can go into any of your generators, so he's a must at 3. Your main normal summon card. 1 Mardell searches any generator card, spell, trap, or monster. 1 Nidhogg negates a special summon. Hela, monster reborn. Utgarda, banish 1 card on the field, which is good. Get rid of anything that needs to be banished. Ha, aka Odin, the boss monster. Well, the boss non-extra deck monster. Amazing. If your opponent adds a card, you can make them discard a monster of their choice. And it's the Omni Negate. Trias, I love this card. I sometimes wish I could play it at 2, but just not enough space. Obviously, with your field, you can have 3 or 4 fairy tokens at a time, meaning you can get a free non-targeting pop and 2 draws. And 3 Valor, who's the second most important card after Lopter. Because if you draw any of the level 9 generators, you can't do nothing with them unless you have your World Legacy card. But Valor can discard any generator card and then you special summon her, and then she becomes a monster reborn. So she's like a much better version of Hela. She made this deck way more powerful. Like, she's so good, and she's a part of both of the combos. One Nibiru, Snake Eye special summon a lot. Some people play 2, some playing 3. I think that's too much, just in case you run into a Labyrinth or Branded who sometimes don't even special summon 5 times. I like playing 1 purely because there's Maxi. So if your opponent tries the Maxi challenge and you draw the Nibiru, they're pissed. 1 boss quest, return a Generator monster, search your field and the trap. 3 Generator boss stage, your heart and soul of the deck. Every time your opponent draws a card, your turn or their turn, you get to special summon a Generator monster from your deck. And if it's on your opponent's turn, that's when you get to special summon the tokens. This is the card you need. Without it, this deck doesn't last that long. 2 cooled buys because hand traps are everywhere, and you can use it against Snake Eyes. 3 World Legacy Monstrosity. This is what gets you the ultimate combo. And even if you don't do the ultimate combo, it still sets you off, man. You can do so much when you have this card. This with a Valor, or this with a Lopter. Oof, madness. You're gonna go do crazy insane plays. Cross out, same reason as cooled by. Too many hand traps, you need to protect yourself. You need the field to go off. If they ash your field, yeah, trouble. 2 imperms, because negating now, if you negate Snake Eyes Ash, it could pretty much be a end stopper if they don't open up amazing. And boss room. So if you do have this with your field on turn 1, you're pretty much protected, because if they do ash you, you activate this, boom, you both draw, and the ash gets negated. Now for the extra deck, Omega for your side frame, Utopic Future for the amazing combo. That is it. Literally, you only have him for the best combo. 2 Fortress again for the combo. You can always go into it at random time. If your opponent has 1 card in hand, you could just do it, but you have 2 for the bomb combo. Bro, I ain't gonna even pronounce his name. Jomangada, the big ass serpent, let's just say. You go into this from your Loki, or it's a part of the pig combo again. Either way, this card is really good, especially if you have your field spell. And if you have with Ha, oof, you can basically make your opponent get rid of 2 cards. Of course, they draw 1, so really it's 1 card, but still, they have to get rid of 2. 1 Sacred Tree Beast, because it's 2 level 9s, can be a negate. 2 Lokis. This is one of, if not the best XYZ in the game. I truly mean that. I know people say Zeus. Zeus is overruled because it's so generic, anyone could go into it. But this, in my opinion, is better than Zeus if you go from effect to effect, because Zeus sends cards to the graveyard, and some cards want to go, if they are sent to the graveyard, they get their effects off. No, not with Loki. 1, doesn't target. 2, as soon as you summon him, just like Zeus, you can automatically you get priority to use his effect. And because he tributes himself, he can't be negated by Veilers or Imperms or Droplets or whatever. He goes straight to the graveyard. He could get cooled by, but there's less cooled bys than all these hand traps. And then once his effect goes through, he gets to suck up 2, 3, 4, however many level 9s you have a material on the field. And because the cards you suck up become material, once you detach them, they no longer are getting sent from the field to the graveyard now. So that's it. So any card that needs to be sent from the hand or the field to the graveyard to get their effects does not work with him. It just, no effect. Basically against Flame Burge, amazing. 1 Zeus, any deck that plays XYZ, you have to play him. 1 IP, yeah, these you don't really go into them, they're just there to fill it. I've never gone into IP, I've never gone into Nightmare Unicorn, never gone into Access Code Talker, and never gone into Underworld. They're just there to fill in. I mean, you could fit in more XYZs, but I don't really want to use any URs. You don't need them, really. The ones I've shown are the most important ones. Well, not Sacred Beasts, that you don't need as well. I just fit in there because I've got a royal finish. Okay, so now I've done the deck profile. Let me do a quick pros and cons list with this deck. The pros, it's extremely easy to get Omni Negate, because as soon as you have your field spell, and your opponent can't actually stop your field from going off when they draw, you have an Omni Negate on field straight away. Like, that's crazy. An Omni Negate that easy, as long as you have your field. And you do have a lot of cards that can get you to it. You basically have 9, as long as you don't get stopped with the Lone Fires, the Lopters, the field itself. So you do get the field quite often. Another pro is it's very good at OTKing, because they do have good attack. 3k, 2500, 2400. These not so much, but you know, when you have a bunch of these attacking, it still does damage. Low key 2500, but makes your opponent lose 1000, and that's not a trigger effect. So for example, my opponent had Baron, didn't negate any of my effects. As soon as I brought up brought out Loki, their Baron went to 2k attack, attacked, and boom, it died. And this could have loads of attack. Again, depends how much materials inside. Number 3, it plays a good amount of hand traps. 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 hand traps it's able to play. And if you don't want to play that many, you could always add in another Trias or another Generator card. I don't know, wherever you'd want. You're able to play a lot of hand traps, and of course you do want to stop the Snake Eyes from going off, or any deck. And you have space to play all 3 of the protection cards, so you have space for many non-engine cards. Number 4, it's a very fun and simple deck to use. Like when I show you the combos, there's only one combo that requires not to make a mess up. Apart from that, that's it. Like literally everything is pretty much normal summon, bring out Mardell, bring out Field. Normal summon, Mardell, Field, just Field. Like the only times where you have to start doing combos is when you have Valor and another Generator. And it's not like you're gonna go into crazy combos. You just always end up on Loki most of the time. Yeah, the combos are very simple, but yet the deck is so fun. And the last pro, which is a big one, and I probably have to get off this screen just to show you, it is an extremely cheap deck. I personally believe this is the best cheap rogue deck. I truly do believe that, because if you look at the URs they need for the deck, we're not going to count the Ashes and the Maxis and Imperms because that's for every deck. We're going to count just the main deck. So in the actual main deck, the only UR is Mardell, and you only need one of her. That's it. So one UR in the main deck. And then when it comes to the extra deck, the only ones you really need are these 2 and 2 Lokis. That's it. That's 5 URs in total. All these other ones you don't need. If you want to get the crazy combos, you would need them, but they're not a must. You don't have to go for them. So realistically, just to play this deck, you need 5 UR, which is crazy. So yeah, I mean, unless you know a deck that only has 5 UR or even less, but they are as powerful as this, that they can get you into Master Rank, and a high Master Rank, not just number 5, but number 3, number 2, possibly number 1. Because again, I do believe I could get this deck to tier 1 if I had more time, but there was 2 events this month, so I was grinding on them as well. So of course that took some time away. That's the main pros. The cons of this deck is it can be inconsistent at times. If you don't draw any of your 1-card starters, which again, you do pretty much have 9. I'm not gonna say 2 cards, because if you did have a Mardell with Valor or Mardell with your World Legacy, then you can get your field. But let's say you only get 1 card, you do have 9, which is obviously Lone Fire, Lopta, and the field. But there are hands when you don't get any of them, and it sucks. I mean, if you do get a Generator boss quest with any Generator monster, that's your field. But again, in terms of just 1-card starters, you get 9. It does sound nice. It's like, whoa, 9 1-card starters. But if you just get the field, sometimes just having 1 Omni Negate might not be enough. However, look, it really depends on your hand as well. You might get a bunch of hand traps and you're good. But yeah, I would say it's the inconsistency at times, because look, you are playing a bunch of level 9s. I hate when I draw, for example, like a Nidhogg and Hela with a few hand traps, but then it's like I can't put anything on the field. I really have to rely on my hand traps. It can be a pain. And another con, which is a big one, if your opponent just ashes your field and you have no protection, you have no cooled buys, no crossouts, no side frames, you lose. It's an instant lose, because you have to rely on this. If this is your only thing on the field because you did have a Lopta into Mardell, or you just open up with the field and pretty much your only interruption would be because of your field bringing out your Ha, if that gets ashed or Cosmic Cycloned, you're screwed, and it's game. Again, unless you have amazing hand traps, we don't want to rely always on the hand. Like, you want to rely on what's on the field. Good players will they'll let this go through, and they'll wait for your field as soon as it's their turn, and they go for draw, and as soon as they draw, this gets activated, they ash, boom, it's done. It's happened a few times, and when it happens and I have no protection, it sucks. That's why I brought in side frame, because when that kept happening to me, I was like, I'm not drawing my cooled buys or cross out, so I need another form of protection, and that's when I brought in the side frame. So now we have 5 ways to protect from ash. But yeah, I think that's the only cons I can think of, honestly, because they are big ones. Don't get me wrong, they're big cons. They're not tiny things. This deck will always have its inconsistency issues because it does play level 9s and it does rely on the field spell. But if you do open up with a starter or some protection for your field spell, you can really go off. Like, it's so hard to stop this deck. Because even when you do have a horror on field and you use your Omni Negate, it's still 3000 defense. Your opponent has to somehow attack through that or destroy it. And when you get your XYZ boss monster out. Oh, he's just, I love him. He's so powerful. As soon as I have him on the field, I just feel like I've won, because he's just that powerful. We've done the deck profile, we've done the pros and cons. Let's get on with the 2 combos. One is super simple. Again, it's really for anyone who's new to this deck and just wants to see what I'm talking about. And the second is the best combo you can get with this deck, which is amazing. It truly is. It feels every time I pull it off, I'm guaranteed a win. Honestly, I think it's a 99% victory at that point. Here is the first combo, which is extremely simple. Again, this is for the beginners, anyone who's trying to learn this deck and just wants to see how it is. You have to open up with Lopter and Valor. You use Valor's effect, pitch Lopter, special summon her, use her effect, bring back Lopter, which then Lopter will then use his effect, tribute himself, bring out Mardell, and then use Mardell's effect to search a generator card. Now, if you don't have the field spell, then of course you search that. However, in my case, or if you end up with the field spell already in your hand, then the next best thing is Generator Boss Room. If you did have another level 9 generator monster or another Lopter in your hand, you could get Boss Quest to then get another field spell and the trap card, but you have to be careful, you might get drolled. If you do fear droll, then just go straight for the trap card. I just go straight to my boy Loki. Go in defense mode in case Lightning Storm. Set, and that's it. You end your turn. As soon as your opponent draws, you use your field. Your trap card can always protect you in case you do get ashed. As I said, you can just discard 1 card, negate the ash, then you both draw. And now you get to end the board with this. So you have an Omni Negate, the trap card in case they try to respond to any of your generator effects, and you have your Loki who can suck up 2 cards, again non-targeting, just a quick easy 2 cards on the field. So if it was Snake Eyes and they had Poplar and Ash on the field, you can just take both of them. Easy. That's it. It's that simple. Just 2 cards and boom, you get this field. Okay, so here is the most powerful combo you can get with this deck. The only things you need: World Legacy Monstrosity, which is the key card here. You need this. And second, either Lopter, because then you contribute to go into a level 9, or Valor. But you need Valor and another generator card just so you can get Valor onto the field. So here we go. At this point, you need to bring out Ha and Valor. Don't use her effect here, we have to save it for later. At this point, do your stage first so you can chain block it with Ha. And you bring out Hela now. This is where you bring back Valor. And now we use her effect to bring back another level 9 generator. So now our opponent only has 2 cards in hand, and we get to end the board with Utopic Future. So as soon as they draw, we use the field, bring out another Valor. You must, at this point, must put the field as chain link 1 and Valor chain link 2. If you do the other way round, the tokens will fill up the field and you won't be able to use Valor's effect to special summon a generator from the graveyard or hand to the field. So you bring back Ha for your Omni negation and your 3 tokens. So there you have it, the most powerful combo you can get with this deck, with your opponent ending with 2 cards at the ending of your turn and then starting with only 3 cards of theirs, while you're ending with an Omni negate and a monster negate and whatever's left in your hand, which you'll have 3 cards in hand, which could be hand traps or in my case a Trias as well. Can your opponent really get through an Omni negate and a monster negate with just 3 cards? That's why I say it's a 99% win rate, because it's extremely hard to win with just 3 cards against an Omni negate and a monster negate. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile, the pros and cons, and now the combos. If you did, leave a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. And as I said in the beginning of this video, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Now, with that all being said, just like my title, the world's strongest duelist, these are the Norse gods. So of course they're going to be powerful. And if you want to see just how powerful, try them out yourself. Now, it's time to go. Slaughter is outer.